Hello everybody, your favourite Uncle Frog here again. Now, absolutely nobody has asked me how I made my raised fire stand, so I thought, ooh, that'll make an interesting and popular video. Now, if you're kind of interested in Western Europe, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th centuries, you're on a bit of a dodgy wicket right from the off for any kind of raised fire thing. We don't really have a lot of proof. If anything, honestly, about the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head is the Bayer tapestry, where you've got this rather odd kind of barbecue set and kebab stand thing. But that's it, as far as I'm aware. I mean, the ship burials, that's got a lot of kind of cooking ware in it, but it's tripods and chains that hang from beams in a hall, skillets, frying pans, pokers, all that kind of stuff. But as far as I'm aware, no, nothing really. So why am I building one? And this is more to do with the modern world than anything historical. Digging a hole, setting a fire in it, if you're on sensitive ground, then you burn the archaeology that's underneath you. And that's not very popular with the archaeologists when you do something like that. They get a little bit kind of uppity. And equally, if you dig a dirty great big hole in the farmer's field and burn things in it, they tend not to be particularly happy either. And so this is more kind of dealing with modern world things rather than anything that's historically accurate. So I went for something that was really, really, really simple. And before I explain what I've done, I should also say that my metalworking skills are even worse than my woodworking skills. It says a lot, really. Okay, so the first bit is kind of over here. Give us a second. So this is the main tray for the fire. I popped down to the local destroy-it-yourself store and I bought myself the largest piece of sheet metal I could find there, piece of steel. And that was 100 centimetres by 60 centimetres. I then measured in 10 centimetres on each side, so top and bottom and the sides, as it were, so bopf and bopf, and I scored lines. On the long sides, I then cut down and up on those lines and folded the whole thing in. So you can see here it's folded over and riveted. Now, let me just get rid of this again. Okay, so that's the tray. So as I said, I measured 10 centimetres in from each side, scored the lines, chopped down, folded in, and then riveted. Folding it in can be a little bit tricky, and so it's a good idea to give it a little bit of a helping hand to start that curve. And you can do this by using a chisel. Now, you want to be using a cold chisel like this and not a wood chisel like this because, well, all the carpenters will probably come round and get very angry with you if you do that, and you'll destroy this tool, which is not a good idea. So one of these things. Once you've got that curve, got that bend starting to go, then you can kind of like happily smack it with a wooden mallet and make all your neighbours really, really happy. Obviously, now that gives the tray, but we need to be able to raise this off the ground somehow. And so I did this by using bits of steel bar, which again I got from the Destroy-It-Yourself store. And as you can see, I've got two uprights and two cross pieces. This is just over 10 centimetres, so the tray slots into the gap on both sides, so two of these. And I can hammer this into the ground because I angle ground the ends to make them a little bit sharper. The clever bit, well, from my perspective, because I'm very stupid, my little bit of cleverness, was to cold rivet these things in place. So how did I do that? Well, I took this, if you imagine this piece here, so the upright, let's put that down there. I took the upright and I drilled 2 holes through here, which were as large as I could possibly get them without destroying the structural integrity of the steel. Then the cross pieces here took the thickness of the bar, in this case 12mm, and added another 5mm on. So we've got about 17, call it 20mm here. And at this point I take an angle grinder and I grind this down to essentially as round as I can get it. Insert the thing through and then peen it over. And that gives me this, which is nice and solid and strong and holds my that thing. It holds that thing off the ground and everything's good. Now, it might not be particularly clear how I ground this down to something that's vaguely round. So I thought I would demonstrate that now, and I've got the another piece of steel set up over here in a vise, and I'm going to take the angle grinder and sort that out. Yes. You may have noticed a couple of mistakes that I might have made in the first part of this video. The first one is about PPE, or personal protective equipment. I'm a great believer in there being 2 types of tool. They're the tools that help you make your mistakes slowly. These are called hand tools by most people. And they're the ones that help you make it very, very quickly. And these are power tools. And the angle grinder is probably sort of the apex predator of making mistakes quickly. And it doesn't really care what it chops its way through. Yeah. So really, home workshop, I know I'm a little bit bad. I do this semi-regularly when I think, oh, it's just a really quick, just, kind of 2 seconds of zzz with the angle grinder, everything will be fine. But of course, that's generally where the accidents start to happen. The other thing, of course, is an appropriately sized tool for the job. That angle grinder is just way, 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 way too big. So let's fix everything. So, fully PP'd up and ready to go. No, not quite. It's a very good idea to tuck things in like this in. Not that I speak from experience, of course. I've never had any problems at all. And this time round, we are going to use an appropriately sized tool for the job. Oh, for Pete's sake, not again. Oh, and I almost forgot, I also use the same technique for making my little griddly thing, so I can kind of griddle things. Very nice place to be able to put a frying pan on, something like that. So exactly the same technique, a little bit more tricky obviously because they're smaller things, but yeah, it worked out. So, if you have liked watching this video, then please, I believe you're supposed to smash that like button. Although, considering some of the people I know, they'd probably end up needing to buy themselves a new keyboard if they did that. So perhaps you should just gently stroke the like button in a loving and gentle way, but purely platonic, of course. Yeah, and there's also the subscribe button. Subscribe button? Yeah, subscribe button would be brilliant though, wouldn't it? Sort of write that down for me. Yeah, excellent. I wish I had one of those. Anyway, yes, so subscribe button, there's that as well, so if you can kind of like gently kind of press the button, that would also be good. And there's the Patreon thingy if you're inclined towards that. That's probably obviously down there as well. There's things to press, things to do, and I will see you next time. Bye.